All right, Rich Halverson here. This is ITS388AL, and we're still in Chapter 5. I'd like to go over the assignment, the Fibonacci assignment. So if we look at that, we see that it's similar to the last one. You know, I forgot to mention that I would really like you to use a procedure. This chapter is on procedures. Subroutines, and so I'd like you to have a call in there, but because I didn't mention this, I won't deduct for that, but the program has to work, of course. This is similar to the last assignment, except for we have to be able to introduce input an n, some variable number of Fibonacci numbers to generate, and so there will be a loop and so on. So although it's not necessary for this assignment, I would like to introduce you to the Irvine Library here. And this is a bunch of subroutines or a bunch of calls that you can make by putting this above your code, your .code segment. And it's a bunch of procedures that you can call to do stuff, input output, and to get stuff, and to do a delay. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do this assignment, but I'm gonna make it so the console pops up, and it asks you how many Fibonacci numbers to generate. And then it will generate the numbers, you know, it'll create the array in memory, but then at the end it'll actually display out all the numbers on the console. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for this assignment. So to do that, I'm going to be using let's see, I'm going to be using carriage return line feed. I'm going to be using that one. I'm going to be using display. Where's right message, display a message, waits for the enter key to be pressed. No, write string. I'm going to use write string, and then I'm going to use read integer, and then I'm going to be writing decimal numbers. I'm going to be writing decimal numbers, and I'm going to be writing characters because I want to put commas in between the numbers that I display out. And okay, and so we'll see how that works. All right, so I'm going to start by downloading the starting project, which I have a link to here, and I think I'll save that on the desktop. And I've already installed my Irvine library. Now, you know, I've been having some trouble with my Irvine library here. Let me just well, you've seen this in previous videos. Sometimes, and I haven't been able to figure out what it is that makes it happen, but sometimes you have trouble connecting to the Irvine 32.inc include that's got all the protos in there to connect to all of the subroutines. And the way that I've always been able to fix it is by doing this MSI installer thing. So this thing actually, you know, it's an installer, so it looks like this. It looks like this when you download it, and then you double click on it. And what's nice is that you're able to you just are able to turn it on again and to uninstall everything if you want. The issue that was with me is that when it installs, it installs down on my right here, down in my C drive, right down in my C drive. So whatever. I think you need to have administrator privileges. Anyway, So I've already installed that, and so when I double click on the project here, make this smaller. When I open up this project, and open it up, I want to be able to, that Irvine library is actually down in this, it's this directory right here. So it's already connected up. So presumably if all this works, I should be able to double click on this to open up this program here, and I should be able to put in include Irvine 32.inc, and we should be able to build the solution. Yeah, there's a problem here with the second. There's actually two models in there, and I think you're able to do something like this. Comment that one out, and yeah, that one looks better. Okay, so we're all set up and ready to go now. So I'm going to take my previous Fibonacci program, which I did for you a couple weeks ago, that looks like this. This one here is written where I actually, you know, there's a Fibonacci array. It looks like there's 20 places for 20 values, and I initialize the first one in the very beginning of the array, and then I increment to the next free spot, and I initialize the second Fibonacci number, which is also 1, storing it in the next position, and I increment this ESI pointer, and then I loop, and I loop by reading the second to the last one, and then adding to that the last one, and then that's going to be an EAX, and then I store EAX into the current position that I'm calculating, and then I increment the size of an element, and I loop again, and of course when you loop, you decrement the ECX counter, and in this one we actually go all the way to the size of the array. Do I overwrite the array by 2 because I don't start decrementing ECX until here? Anyway, all right, so I'm going to start with this. Now the idea is that we are supposed to, let's see, let me copy something here. I'm going to copy what's inside the main proc. It's inside the main proc. No, okay, I want to first do that, and I'm going to paste that inside the main proc. And then I also want to put the stuff up here. What's new up there? Model, flat, stack, data. Oh, the data fib thing. Okay, I got to put that in there. I'll just put that in there. Pop that right in there. And let's change this to fib array. And computes. Array of Fibonacci numbers. And whatever. And I'm also going to change the name of this file here to something like fibarray. All right, that's better. All right, now I can get rid of, I don't think I need this anymore. Okay, so the idea here though is that this thing, this place where I start calculating the Fibonacci um, array, I want that to be in a procedure or in a subroutine that I call from the main program. So so I'm gonna just okay, so and then I also want to make it so I ask the user how many numbers to generate. So I think I might start by doing that. So we have the fib array here, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, like 200 or something, the D word. And I'm going to also add, so I'm going to need, let me show you what I'm going to use. To read the console, first I'm going to write the console. Let me, okay, so we're in chapter 5. And let's go to like around Irvine Library here, 5.4. And so I'm going to, so these are the ones I'm going to use here. It lists them all here. I'm going to use write string, and then I'm going to use read decimal. It's bigger. I use write string, then I'm going to use read decimal, then I'm going to have a loop, and I'm going to write decimal, and I'm going to write a comma and write a space, and I'm going to write another decimal, I'm going to write a comma and write a space. And then I'm at the very end, I'm going to write some carriage return line feeds to put a little space at the end. All right, so so let's start by, so I have to see how these interface. So first let me go to write string, and I think that is on write string. It's probably down on like 160, way too far, 169 or so, as in my notes. 169. All right, write string right here. And so what we need is we need to have a prompt, which is what's displayed out. That's what we're going to write. And then we have to load the address of the prompt into the EDX register, and then we call write string. All right, so I'm just going to copy this out, and I'm going to pop that right. I'm going to put it at the very top. No, I want it to, no, it's under the data. Oops. It's data. That's data, and then this here is where we write the string. Copy that out, and I'll put that right here. So, and so this is going to display request for how many numbers compute. Okay, so prompt. And what I wanted to say is, how many Fibonacci numbers would you like to see? And I got to put some sort of limit on it. So something like, how many Fibonacci numbers would you like to see? Between 2 and 100. Okay, and then we have to end that, end the string with a 0. All right, so then the result is going to end up, oh, it's not going to have a result. Okay, so next we have to read. So to read, we're going to do, that's more like on page 160. Here, read string. And so we have to have a buffer to put the string into, and that's just going to be our fib array. So that's where we're going to put the string. No, wait a second. We're not reading a string. We're reading an integer. Read integer. HI, read integer. Okay, so we just need to have a place. Oh, we don't need anything. Okay, so we call read int and the result comes in EAX. So call read int and the result is going to be end up in EAX. So let's just go call read int, read number into EAX. And that's the number that we're going to read. And so let's store that someplace because we're going to probably refer to it later. And I'm going to call the storage, how about num fibs? And I'm going to call that, it's going to be dword something. And so let's store, let's move into num fibs, comma, EAX. Okay, so store into num fibs. And okay, next we're going to, oh, we're ready to generate the array, aren't we? Okay, so let's, to generate the array, we're going to need to put the location of the array into EAX. So that's going to be the same. I'm going to just take this. So this is going to be actually, these two things are going to be part, these two things are going to be outside the array. And it's going to be, the start of the array, I think, should be like this thing right here, where we move a 1, move the first fib number into where the first array is. Okay, so this is going to be the starting of the array. Okay, so we got to, so let's make this the starting of the array. Let's just do this right here. Don't worry, there's going to be a bunch of stuff filled in here. But this is going to be like this. And then we got to put all these comments in here. Oh, this is not a comment. Gen, I'm going to call the array, the subgroup, the procedure, I'm going to call it gen fibs. And it's going to be a proc. And it's going to use the EAX register. It's going to use the ECX register for decrementing. So this is going to be affected. This is going to be affected, and the EAX is going to be affected. But I don't, nothing. Okay, so nothing else. So this uses ECX and oops, don't no comma, ESI and EAX. Okay, so that, and so what that does is this is a special directive. So when it returns, we got to put a return someplace. Like not this is gotta this is gonna be up here someplace. Yeah, that's gonna be up there someplace. Or here is where I call gen fibs. Okay, so this is going to call gen fibs. It's going to come down here, and it's going to go do a bunch of stuff. That's going to return. And at the end here, we put gen fibs end p. So this is the end of the proc. This is the beginning of the proc. And oh, we got to put some more comments in here. Let's say we say it generates Fibonacci values and stores in an array. It receives ESI, which points to an array, and it gets ECX, which is how many to generate, and it returns nothing. Okay, so I gotta put this fancy stuff here, these dashed lines and all this and this and that. And so this can remain the same. So it loads that in, loads it to Okay, it'll know what fib array is. It will be aware of what that is because it sees this, so it's not a problem. Load one into do another, add one, store this, get the second, first each time increment. Okay, and loop. Here we loop until ECX is down to 0, and then we return. All right, and then this is the end. And let's mark off the end of the this too, like that. All right, so this is our proc, and it's a subroutine. And it knows that when it comes down to here, it's smart enough to know that it's got to, okay, so what this does, this automatically inserts push, 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 and when it returns, it's pop, pop, pop. So when it returns back up to here, right after this, ECX is not going to have changed, ESI is not going to have changed, and EAX is not going to have changed. It's going to still be what it was before. All right, so this calls genfibs and generates all those Fibonacci numbers. And then we're gonna write out what the numbers are. You know, I wonder if we can, let's debug this right now. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. So this is gonna call genfibs and it's just gonna return. But let's run it and then let's look into the memory, okay? And see if it's produced correctly. So let me rebuild. Very good, it succeeded. And I guess let me run it. And this thing pops up. And I'm having some problems here. Hope that doesn't affect anything. How many Fibonacci numbers would you like to see? Well, let's see 20. Enter. It doesn't do anything, but we're at a breakpoint now. We're right here at this breakpoint. So let's see if we can debug and let's see some windows. Let's look at memory. Let's look at memory 1. And let's look at where's fib array? How do I fib? It would be where okay. Here's the ESI. Well, ESI is when it returns. ESI is still going to be pointing to the offset of fib array, right? So what's ESI? It is 0040600. So I think I can just like drag this up to here maybe and see what happens. Oh, okay. Do I hit enter or something? Enter. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's starting here. Here's 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, D, 15, 22, 37, 59, 90. This is hexadecimal. E9, and this is 0179 or it's 179, 262, 3dB, 63D, A18, 1055, and so on. So it looks like that part worked. Okay, so now all we've got to do is display it back out. So let's just finish this. I can just close it. And right here, let's start. Okay, so first we want to write to the console, don't we? And we want to write, but we want to write one number at a time. So first we got to initialize a loop here. Let's do a move into ECX numfibs. So that's how many we're going to display out, numfibs. And let's move into ESI, the starting of the array, fib array. Okay, and then we're going to loop. Let's do some loop L2. I think we can call it L1. I'm just going to call it L2. Let's see, move. So what I'm doing is I'm doing writing decimal. What does writing decimal look like? It looks like right decimal. We just put what we want to write into the EAX register and then call rightdeck. So we move into the EAX register, EAX, and what we're moving into is the value, the 4-byte value pointed to by ESI. Got to put a comma. Okay, so I'm going to put some comments here. Generate Fibonacci array, and now we're going to output array, and this is going to be load a number of numbers to output, point to first number, load number into EAX. Then we've got call rightdeck, output decimal version to console, and then we want to write a comma, right? Write a comma, and so we're going to use right char. We just load the character into the lower accumulator, and we call right char. So let's I can just hit a space. So move into AL, move a comma, and then call right char, and then move into AL a space, and then call right char. Okay, so we're done writing the comma and everything, and okay, now we got to increment ESI because we want to point to the next number, so that's add to ESI, add to it type of fib array, add 4 to it, and then we want to loop L2, and that's going to loop all the number as many times as we put into ECX, so it's going to num fib times. And then when we're all done with that, let's throw out a couple of carriage returns. So we got some space there. Call CRLF, and I guess we're done. We're done after that. Output, comma, space, after number. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Rebuild the solution. Okay, and let's run it. How many would you like to see? 20. Oh, I have this. Oh, well, it displayed it all out. This is what it is. And then I can hit a space. Oh, I'm at this breakpoint again. So let's stop this. And let's get rid of this breakpoint. And let's try to run this again. Let's get rid of this. Let's run it again. I think I can just run it again. 20. Yeah, what do you think about that? What about, let's run it again. 40. Ooh. Anyway, I've verified that these numbers are correct. So anyway, so that should pretty much that's what you're supposed to do for the next assignment. And so start with your Fibonacci assignment that you did last time, and then uh, turn it into a procedure like I just showed you how to do. And really, that's all you have to do. But if you'd like to, it might be a good exercise for you to do more, do what I just did and make this input-output thing, because in the next assignment, you're going to have to do that. So you'll be all set to start that. All right, so I think that's it for today, and thanks for watching.